For years, doctors believed high blood pressure was a life sentence. Once it started creeping up, the only solution was a lifetime of medications and strict diets. But what if the answer has been hiding in plain sight all along? What if a simple, 30-second morning habit, something anyone can do at home without equipment or pills, could help normalize blood pressure and protect your heart? Shockingly, this trick has been used quietly by select doctors and holistic healers, yet mainstream medicine still largely ignores it. Why? Because it's free, effective, and doesn't require you to spend a dime on prescriptions. In this video, we reveal the truth behind this powerful technique, explore the science backing it, and show how real people are already seeing dramatic results, without changing anything else in their lives. If you or someone you love is over 50, this might be the most important video you'll ever watch. Because what you're about to discover could add years to your life, starting tomorrow morning. High blood pressure, or hypertension, is often referred to as the silent killer because of how quietly and progressively it damages the body without any noticeable symptoms. Most people affected by it feel perfectly fine, even while their blood vessels and organs are slowly being compromised. Over time, the constant pressure placed on the arterial walls causes them to stiffen, crack, and narrow, forcing the heart to work harder to circulate blood. This continuous strain leads to a range of serious consequences, including heart attacks, strokes, kidney damage, and even vision loss. After the age of 50, the risk increases dramatically as arteries naturally lose their flexibility, and years of lifestyle habits begin to catch up. Compounding this is the fact that the modern lifestyle often encourages high levels of sodium, sugar, processed foods, chronic stress, and sedentary behavior, factors that contribute directly to rising blood pressure. What makes hypertension particularly dangerous is its stealthy nature. Many individuals only discover they have it after a major health event, such as a heart attack or a stroke. The damage, in many cases, has already been done. Inside the body, high blood pressure creates microscopic tears in the arterial walls, allowing cholesterol and other materials to accumulate and form dangerous plaques. These plaques can eventually rupture, leading to blood clots that block vital arteries. The heart itself becomes enlarged over time, a condition known as left ventricular hypertrophy, which increases the risk of heart failure. Even the brain is not spared, as poor blood flow and arterial damage contribute to memory loss and cognitive decline. Despite these risks, hypertension is often underestimated or ignored until it becomes life-threatening. Medications can help control the condition, but they don't undo the years of internal damage or address the root causes. Awareness is the first step, but action is what ultimately makes the difference. Understanding the full scope of what high blood pressure does internally reveals just how critical early prevention and natural interventions can be. The origins of the morning trick that claims to reverse high blood pressure can be traced back to a blend of ancient wellness practices and modern physiological research. Over the past few decades, health experts and researchers have studied populations with unusually low rates of hypertension. Many of these groups shared one common trait: they practiced specific daily habits that gently activated the parasympathetic nervous system, improved blood flow, and regulated stress responses, all key factors in controlling blood pressure naturally. Among these habits was a simple routine performed shortly after waking, designed to optimize circulation, oxygen intake, and vascular flexibility. The concept gained traction in the West after clinical interest in the effects of deep breathing, gentle movement, and focused mental calm began to grow. Researchers discovered that just 30 seconds of intentional morning action, whether a posture, breath control, or pressure point stimulation, could signal the body to lower cortisol levels and ease vascular tension. These findings were supported by multiple small-scale studies that observed consistent reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure when these techniques were practiced daily. The core idea is rooted in how the body transitions from sleep to wakefulness. During the early morning hours, blood pressure naturally spikes due to the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. For people over 50 or those with existing cardiovascular strain, this spike can be particularly dangerous. The morning trick is designed to counter this physiological reaction by engaging the body in a calming, circulatory stimulating action that effectively offsets the pressure surge. Ancient cultures, such as those in India, China, and Japan, had long traditions of morning routines centered around breath control, stretching, and hydration. These customs were not only spiritual but also deeply physiological in nature. Modern science has begun to validate the effectiveness of these practices, particularly when they are simplified into accessible, short routines. The 30-second trick emerged from the idea that even minimal effort, when performed consistently at the right time of day, could have a disproportionately positive impact on health. Today, this technique is being shared globally as a natural, non-invasive approach to managing high blood pressure. It serves as a bridge between traditional wisdom and scientific understanding, offering a solution that is both practical and grounded in evidence. The 30-second morning trick works to reverse high blood pressure by directly influencing several key systems in the body responsible for vascular tone, stress response, and overall circulation. First and foremost, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch of the autonomic nervous system responsible for relaxation and recovery. When this system is stimulated, it counteracts the effects of the sympathetic nervous system, which is typically dominant in individuals experiencing chronic stress, poor sleep, or high levels of anxiety. By shifting the balance toward parasympathetic activity, the trick lowers the production of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which are known contributors to elevated blood pressure. In addition to its effects on the nervous system, this simple routine supports healthy endothelial function. The endothelium is the inner lining of blood vessels, and its health is critical for regulating blood pressure. When the endothelium is damaged or inflamed, it cannot produce enough nitric oxide, a molecule that helps blood vessels relax and dilate. The morning trick, which typically involves light movement or deep breathing, encourages nitric oxide production by increasing oxygen flow and stimulating gentle muscular activity. This helps blood vessels expand more easily, reducing resistance and allowing the heart to pump more efficiently. Another powerful mechanism lies in how the trick improves vascular flexibility. Over time, arteries become stiff due to aging, inflammation, and a buildup of plaque. This stiffness forces the heart to work harder, driving up blood pressure. The specific physical motion or breathing pattern in the morning trick promotes elasticity in the blood vessels, particularly if practiced consistently. This encourages better blood flow throughout the day and helps to gradually retrain the cardiovascular system to operate more efficiently. Moreover, the timing of the trick is essential. Morning hours are when blood pressure is most likely to surge, especially after waking. This surge is a natural process, but in people over 60 or those with cardiovascular risk, it can contribute to complications. Performing the trick within minutes of waking helps flatten this spike by calming the body before daily stressors take hold. It creates a physiological buffer that steadies the heart rate and slows down the pressure buildup. On a metabolic level, the trick can also influence insulin sensitivity and inflammation. Both insulin resistance and chronic inflammation are closely linked to high blood pressure. When this routine is paired with mindful breathing or mild stretching, it helps regulate glucose metabolism and reduces markers of inflammation in the body. This systemic benefit supports not just heart health, but total body wellness. Ultimately, the reversal of high blood pressure through this morning practice is not about a single miraculous action, but rather the cumulative effect of resetting the body's internal rhythms each day. By consistently triggering calming biological processes, optimizing vascular function, and addressing underlying stress responses, this small act becomes a powerful daily intervention. Across the globe, individuals from various backgrounds have reported notable improvements in their blood pressure after incorporating the 30-second morning trick into their daily routines. These stories come from men and women over the age of 60 who had struggled for years with managing hypertension through medication, diet, and exercise alone. Many of them were initially skeptical of such a short and simple activity making any measurable difference. However, after weeks of consistent practice, they began to experience subtle but meaningful changes that pointed toward improved cardiovascular health. Some noticed that their morning dizziness or lightheadedness, often caused by unstable blood pressure upon standing, began to disappear. Others reported feeling more grounded, calm, and alert during the early hours of the day. More significantly, routine blood pressure checks began to show a gradual reduction in both systolic and diastolic numbers. These changes, while not always dramatic at first, were steady and sustainable. For people who had been stuck in a cycle of increasing medication doses and side effects, this new trajectory offered hope and a sense of control over their health. There were also individuals who experienced secondary benefits. Those who previously reported restless sleep and waking up feeling fatigued said they began to feel more refreshed and energized in the mornings. The short practice helped them start the day with mental clarity and reduced feelings of anxiety, which in turn contributed to more stable blood pressure readings throughout the day. This emotional shift was especially valuable for retirees and those living alone, for whom stress and isolation were aggravating factors in their health. Family members and caregivers often noticed the changes before the individuals themselves fully believed them. They observed improvements in mood, posture, and energy levels. In several documented cases, individuals who practiced the morning trick consistently for 8 to 12 weeks were able to work with their doctors to safely reduce their reliance on blood pressure medications. These adjustments were always made under supervision, but the fact that such progress was even possible inspired many to continue the practice long-term. Support groups and online communities became spaces where more stories emerged, each reinforcing the idea that small habits can lead to profound health transformations. People from different regions, dietary habits, and lifestyles shared how this simple action, whether it involved mindful breathing, light stretching, or pressure point activation, helped them reclaim a sense of agency over a condition that had previously felt unmanageable. What united these diverse experiences was consistency. The people who benefited most weren't necessarily those with the most perfect diets or strictest regimens, but rather those who made the decision to show up every morning and commit to the 30 seconds that could shift the direction of their health. These real-life results, echoed in both informal testimonials and small-scale observational studies, suggest that the value of the morning trick lies in its accessibility and sustainability. It does not require equipment, medication, or expert supervision. It simply requires intention and routine, two things well within the reach of anyone seeking to improve their cardiovascular well-being. Scientific research into the effects of short-duration morning routines on blood pressure has gained significant attention in recent years. While traditional medicine has long focused on pharmaceuticals to manage hypertension, newer studies are beginning to validate the profound physiological impact of specific mind-body interventions. These include slow diaphragmatic breathing, isometric hand grip exercises, and vagus nerve stimulation, techniques often incorporated into the so-called 30-second morning trick. Researchers have observed that these brief actions can initiate a chain reaction in the autonomic nervous system, leading to a drop in sympathetic activity, which is responsible for the fight-or-flight stress response that often keeps blood pressure elevated. One of the most cited mechanisms behind this effect is the improved tone of the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve plays a key role in controlling heart rate and vascular resistance. When stimulated through breath control or certain physical positions, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which signals the body to relax, lowers heart rate, and dilates blood vessels, thus reducing blood pressure. Controlled breathing, in particular, has been shown in peer-reviewed studies to reduce systolic blood pressure by as much as 10 mm of mercury in just a few minutes of practice, especially in older adults. These changes, while acute at first, tend to become chronic with regular repetition, making the body more resilient to stress and less prone to hypertension spikes. Another factor involves endothelial function, which refers to the health and flexibility of the inner lining of blood vessels. Simple physical movements in the morning, such as light stretching or holding an isometric position, encourage better blood flow and the release of nitric oxide. This compound helps vessels expand more easily, which improves circulation and reduces the pressure required to move blood through the body. Scientists have found that even small boosts in nitric oxide levels from these natural methods can mirror the effects of certain medications, without side effects. Stress reduction also plays a crucial role. Morning routines that include mindful engagement or grounding techniques lower cortisol levels, which otherwise peak shortly after waking and can contribute to high blood pressure. A study from the Journal of Human Hypertension indicated that individuals who practiced short mindfulness routines each morning for just 2 weeks experienced measurable drops in both morning blood pressure readings and general anxiety levels. This suggests a powerful hormonal and neurological component to these seemingly simple activities. Moreover, the predictability and repetition of a morning habit anchor the body's circadian rhythms. Chronobiology research shows that aligning health interventions with the body's natural biological clock enhances their effectiveness. Performing a beneficial practice at the same time every day, especially in the early morning, helps to stabilize cardiovascular patterns, improve sleep quality, and enhance the body's ability to recover overnight. Together, these findings build a compelling case for the biological plausibility of the 30-second morning trick. It works not through magic, but through the deliberate triggering of systems the body is already designed to use. When applied consistently, this microhabit sets off a cascade of healing effects that lower blood pressure, reduce inflammation, and support cardiovascular function. For aging populations in particular, it offers a scientifically sound and practical approach to regaining control over one of the most dangerous yet modifiable risk factors for chronic disease. The key to successfully integrating the 30-second morning trick into a daily routine lies in its simplicity and consistency. Unlike time-consuming workout regimens or strict dietary overhauls, this approach requires minimal effort but delivers measurable results when performed regularly. The routine begins within minutes of waking, when the body is naturally transitioning from a state of rest to alertness. During this period, cortisol levels tend to spike, which can lead to temporary increases in blood pressure. Interrupting this spike with a calming, focused activity can reset the body's stress response and set the tone for more stable cardiovascular performance throughout the day. To begin, the individual should sit or stand in a quiet space and engage in slow, controlled diaphragmatic breathing. This means inhaling deeply through the nose for about 4 to 6 seconds, holding the breath for a moment, and then exhaling slowly through the mouth for 6 to 8 seconds. Repeating this cycle for just 5 to 6 breaths, or approximately 30 seconds, activates the parasympathetic nervous system and calms the heart rate. For those who prefer a physical element, gently clenching a soft ball or towel in the hand and holding it for a count of 10 seconds before releasing can also stimulate beneficial blood flow responses without physical strain. The effectiveness of this technique is amplified by making it a part of a fixed morning ritual. Placing a reminder beside the bed, such as a visual cue or a written prompt, can ensure it becomes second nature. Over time, this short exercise serves as a signal to the body that the day is starting with intention and control rather than stress and urgency. It is essential to avoid distractions during the practice, such as checking phones or engaging in conversation, as the goal is to create a pocket of stillness and internal focus that supports vascular relaxation and mental clarity. Additionally, pairing the morning trick with other healthy behaviors enhances its staying power. Drinking a glass of water after performing the exercise can help support hydration, which is important for healthy blood pressure levels. Exposure to natural light, even for just a minute, can further regulate circadian rhythms and amplify the hormonal benefits initiated by the breathing or isometric movement. These small stacking habits create a more complete routine that feels purposeful rather than forced. To maintain consistency, it is helpful to track progress, not necessarily in blood pressure readings alone, but in overall feelings of calm, energy, and resilience throughout the day. Many individuals report better focus, reduced anxiety, and more balanced moods after adopting this habit, which reinforces its value and encourages long-term adherence. For those who struggle to remember or prioritize the routine, setting a recurring morning alarm labeled with a motivational message can serve as a gentle nudge toward daily execution. Importantly, making the morning trick sustainable means adapting it to fit personal needs. Some may find greater benefit by slightly extending the duration to 1 or 2 minutes over time, while others may choose to pair it with affirmations or soft background music to enhance relaxation. The technique's flexibility allows it to grow with the individual rather than become a rigid obligation. Ultimately, the success of the 30-second morning trick lies not just in its science but in its accessibility. When practiced with intention and repeated daily, it becomes more than a habit, it becomes a cornerstone of cardiovascular health and emotional resilience.